Echoes of Silence. In a quiet suburban town, there lived a man named Thomas. He was a hard-working father and husband, dedicated to providing for his family and keeping them safe. Thomas owned a handgun, which he stored securely in their home, away from the eyes of his curious 3-year-old son, Benjamin. One busy evening, Thomas returned home from shooting at the range, preoccupied with thoughts of an important deadline. Believing he had unloaded the firearm, he absent-mindedly placed it on the kitchen table, intending to secure it in its usual location shortly after. However, unbeknownst to him, a single bullet remained in the chamber. As he began preparing dinner, he received an urgent call from his boss. Distracted, he stepped outside to take the call, completely forgetting about the weapon he had left on the table. Meanwhile, little Benjamin was playing with his toys in the living room when he suddenly noticed the shiny object on the kitchen table. Intrigued, he toddled into the kitchen and climbed onto a chair to get a closer look at the fascinating item. With the cold metal in his small hands, Benjamin began to play with the gun, oblivious to the dangerous power it held. In a split second, his tiny fingers wrapped around the trigger, and a deafening bang reverberated through the house. Hearing the gunshot, Thomas's heart stopped in terror. Dropping the phone, he raced back inside, desperately calling out for his son. When he reached the kitchen, he found Benjamin lying motionless on the floor, blood surrounding his head, and he immediately called 911. The local emergency medical service, EMS team, received a frantic call from a distraught father named Thomas, reporting that his 3-year-old son, Benjamin, had accidentally shot himself in the head with a loaded gun. Time was of the essence, and both the EMS and life flight teams were immediately dispatched to the scene. The EMS team, with sirens blaring and lights flashing, raced through the streets, navigating the quickest route to reach Benjamin. Meanwhile, the life flight team prepared for takeoff, knowing that every second counted in such critical situations. As they took to the skies, the highly skilled crew hoped against all odds that they would arrive in time to save the young boy's life. Back at the scene, Thomas held his lifeless son in his arms, praying for a miracle as he anxiously awaited the emergency responders. The pain and guilt weighed heavily on him, knowing that his momentary carelessness had led to this horrific event. When the EMS team arrived, they quickly assessed the situation and began administering life-saving measures to Benjamin. They carefully stabilized his neck, applied pressure to the wound, and administered oxygen. His tiny body was fragile and still, but they clung to the hope that they could save him. Moments later, the life flight helicopter descended from the sky, landing gracefully on a nearby field. The flight team rushed to the scene, their faces etched with determination. They transferred Benjamin onto a stretcher, securing him for the flight to the nearest trauma center. Before leaving for the hospital, the life flight team had to intubate Benjamin to ensure he could breathe properly. They explained the procedure to his father in simple terms. "We need to place a tube down his throat to help him breathe. This will keep his airway open and allow us to give him the oxygen he needs." They carefully inserted the tube, making sure it was secure and functioning correctly. As the helicopter soared through the air, the medical team worked tirelessly to keep Benjamin alive. They monitored his vital signs, administered fluids, and prepared for any complications that might arise. The minutes turned into an agonizing eternity as they battled against time and the severity of Benjamin's injuries. Upon arrival at the hospital, Benjamin was immediately taken into the operating room. A team of skilled surgeons and nurses worked diligently to repair the damage caused by the bullet. They fought to control the bleeding, relieve the pressure on his brain, and restore his vital functions. For hours, the medical team worked tirelessly. their every move guided by a desperate hope. Thomas and his wife waited anxiously in the waiting room, their hearts heavy with fear and guilt. They prayed for a miracle, clinging to the belief that their little boy would pull through. Despite the medical team's best efforts, Benjamin's condition continued to deteriorate. The damage to his brain was too severe, and his little body was unable to withstand the trauma. As the surgeons worked to repair the damage, Benjamin's heart rate began to slow, and his blood pressure dropped. The lead surgeon, a seasoned professional with years of experience, made the difficult decision to stop the operation. He knew that continuing would be futile and would only prolong Benjamin's suffering. With a heavy heart, he informed the rest of the team that they had done everything they could. Benjamin's parents were called into the operating room to say their final goodbyes. They held their son's hand, tears streaming down their faces as they whispered words of love and comfort. Benjamin passed away peacefully, surrounded by his loving parents and the dedicated medical team who had fought so hard to save him. The loss of their son was a devastating blow to Thomas and his wife, and they would never fully recover from the pain of that day. Take-home points. The importance of children and gun safety cannot be overstated, as it is a critical aspect of protecting the lives and well-being of our youngest and most vulnerable members of society. Firearms, when not handled or stored properly, can lead to devastating accidents and tragedies involving children. By implementing and promoting gun safety measures, we can significantly reduce the risk of such incidents and build a safer environment for children. Education. Educating both children and adults about gun safety is essential in preventing accidents. Children should be taught from a young age to respect firearms, understand the potential danger they pose, and know what to do if they encounter a gun, e.g., not touching it and informing an adult. Adults should also be educated on proper gun handling, storage, and safety measures to ensure that they are responsible gun owners. Safe storage. One of the most effective ways to prevent accidents involving children and firearms is by securely storing guns and ammunition. Guns should be kept unloaded and locked in a gun-safe cabinet or other secure storage devices, with the ammunition stored separately. This ensures that children cannot accidentally access or discharge a firearm. Supervision and guidance. Parents and guardians play a crucial role in ensuring their children's safety around firearms. It is important for them to supervise their children closely and provide clear guidance on the appropriate behavior around guns. If a family owns firearms or participates in activities involving guns, parents should take the time to explain the rules and responsibilities associated with firearms and ensure their children understand the importance of gun safety. Community involvement. Promoting gun safety within the community can help raise awareness and create a safer environment for children. This can involve supporting local initiatives, such as gun safety courses, public awareness campaigns, and school programs that educate children about the dangers of firearms and the importance of responsible gun ownership. By prioritizing children's safety and taking the necessary precautions, we can help prevent tragic accidents involving guns and create a safer environment for our children to grow and thrive. The responsibility falls on parents, educators, and the community as a whole to ensure that gun safety is taken seriously and that appropriate measures are put in place to protect our youngest citizens.
If you are moved by this story and want to hear more incredible rescues and discover powerful insights on how to prevent childhood accidents, you can find Lessons from the Sky, Life Flight Rescues, and the Fight for Child Safety on Amazon and most online bookstores in either audio or book format. Every story in Lessons from the Sky holds a valuable lesson. Some are filled with hope and happy endings, while others serve as heartbreaking reminders of why child safety is so important. Lessons from the Sky is the perfect gift for new and expecting parents, or anyone who wants to stay ahead of potential safety hazards. Emotional engagement drives action. Let these stories touch your heart and inspire you to protect the children in your life.